The NFT markets are up, and we have a special guest on our show today. I'm not saying those two things are related, but I'm also not saying that they're not. Welcome to Goats and the Metaverse. We've got a really special surprise for you. One of the biggest names in the NFT game is here with us today. But before we bring him on, I'm going to bring on my fellow co-host, Stanley. Stanley, how are you, my friend? I'm excited about today's show and all the things we're going to get into. I think it's going to be a real special one. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. I thought you were going to say the special guest, and then I was going to appear and then say it's not really me. But
You're always the
I'm
special
super excited.
guest.
I am the special guest. I'm excited for today's show. I'm excited for tomorrow's show. Then we got more special guests next week. We're bringing the heat, but let's get right into it. Let's get to it. Farokh, welcome to Goats in the Metaverse, my friend. I'm excited to have you on. I'm sure Yassi's excited to have you on. What up, what up, what up?
Yo. What's up, fam? How you doing? I'm excited. I mean, remember we chatted and you're like, let's make it happen. And we're finally, finally doing it.
We're finally here. Farokh and I ran into each other at the Casa Cipriani Gala during NFT NYC. Where there were some heavy hitters in the room. There was NFT selling for $500,000, physical art selling for $300,000-$400,000. I know I felt really poor in that room. I don't know about you, Farokh, but
same.
People were dropping money like crazy.
I was sitting next to Robert Leshner at some point while the bidding was going on with the Sotheby's people, and I was like, damn, like these are like, that's another level of me. And then also I do want to point out that this is the first time I ever got to see and be in the same room as Leonardo DiCaprio in my life, because he was there. I didn't go say hi to him, total fanboy. I totally froze, but still, he was in the same room. So like we were breathing the same air. So I'd like to consider that as something pretty cool as well.
Yeah, he was there.
Cool.
Go ahead, I was gonna say he was rocking his signature hat. Everybody was wearing tuxes.
Just like
Leo was wearing jeans and a hat. So, and he's probably the only one that could pull it off.
Yeah, that was funny.
Farokh, you need no introduction in the NFT world and the Web3 world, one of the biggest names in this space. But for people who haven't heard of you, maybe just give us a glimpse into who you are and how you got into this crazy worldwide Web3 world.
Yeah, I mean, sure. My name is Farokh Sarmad. I'm a 27-year-old entrepreneur based in Montreal, Canada. I was born and raised in Paris. Parents Persians. So that's kind of the background, name and whatnot. But yeah, I've been an entrepreneur for a minute, man. Like I'm 27 now. I started my agency, my business, whatever it is. I made my first dollar as I was turning 17. I started a media company called Good Life Media and Communications, which is like focused on media, branding, and building communication strategies online for clients, right? Whether they were people or brands, companies, personal, not personal, tangible, intangible goods. And so that's what I did for a long time. But I've been growing, I've had a presence on social media since like 12, 13 years old. I started building like on social for fun, Tumblr, Instagram, built a whole network of 10, 15 million followers. Kind of started ad network, blah, 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 yada, yada. I'm just going through it quick because it's out there, right? But it's like, all that good stuff. And then, so I've always been kind of an entrepreneur at heart, been doing it for a minute. And then in December 2020, pandemic, everything hit. I'm on Clubhouse a lot, right? Like a lot of people, I'm sure you guys probably know about that, but the whole Clubhouse thing and live social audio blew up. And then a couple months later, in February 2021, I ended up in the Clubhouse room. I already had built an audience within 2 months on Clubhouse. Like I already had maybe 75, 80,000 followers on there. And then I ended up in a room called like NFTs, blah, blah, blah. And so that's when I met, some of the biggest artists now in the space that as Fewocious, enthusiast, fuck renders, all these people, and became homies. And then they taught me what an NFT was. And when I saw what it was, I quit the whole part I just introduced. Like I said, goodbye, close the door. Next morning, woke up, bought my first NFT, Aku Genesis, Micah Johnson, on February 21st. And then I never looked back. And so everything, and the rest is history. Fast forward September 2021. So last year as well, we founded and launched Rug Video, trying to build a fully decentralized Web3 media ecosystem. And here we are now on your podcast.
Incredible.
That's a quick, like,
That is a accelerated version of the world of your life, but it seems like it's been an accelerated version in your world of Web3. You've risen to fame in the space pretty quickly, and Rug Radio has become an institutional name. We'll go into some questions about that and how that all happened. But maybe you just take us back to that space that you were in on Clubhouse, where you met these artists in 2020 or 2021. And what was it about what you learned there that was like, wow, I have to quit everything else I've just been doing now for the past 10 years, and I'm going all in on this?
I felt it immediately, like, no joke. And there's timestamps to show that. But between the time I found out what an NFT was and the amount of time spent, and then everything I started doing after that. But it's like, I'm an internet kid. I refer to myself like that as that a lot. I'm born in '94, and then the internet came out. It was like, social media. Like when I was 12 years old, when Facebook was born, right? So it's like we're social media. I was just like building, creating memes, building large network of Instagram page or a luxury niche or life hack niche or just memes and this and that. So it's like kind of what I was always doing in my bread and butter. But then I saw, the NFT space, and I was already like really fascinated by cryptocurrency as in general. Like I was really like just like always interested and curious. I wasn't heavily invested at all, but like I always looked into it. I was always down, but for some reason I never made the jump. Perhaps I was scared, right? I genuinely think that, by the way. And I was really just already building my own thing, so I was like, I didn't want to take risks. And so when I found what an NFT was, like I was like, whoa, like that's my Bitcoin 2012 moment. It's NFTs 2021, and I'm not gonna miss it. Like literally, like anyone around me knows, family, friends, like I literally dropped life when I found out what an NFT was, because I was like, wow, the cross of like the internet culture and crypto, right? Art and tech, and now media, what we're doing. Like I was like, wow, I saw clear, and I was like, this is the most amazing thing ever. I already love art. You see, I always have art, but this, I'm anymore. I just moved in here, but it's just like I just got it for some reason, it just clicked, and I went all in.
So Farokh, you went all in, and like you said, you kind of made, or we said you made your presence felt right away. What was the goal going all in? Was it to launch your own project? Was it to build a name in the space? Like, did you kind of have a clear goal of how you're going to be a part of this ecosystem? Or was it like, hey, let me jump in, try a bunch of different things and kind of see what shakes out?
No goal. My personal goal has always been to change the world. Like straight up. It's not just a quote, it's not a fairy tale type thing for the podcast, whatnot. I've been saying this since I'm 14 years old. Like literally, I've always been wanting to build audiences on social so that I can like at least leave an imprint, a footprint on the world, at least change things or just share, with people. I've been, like literally that's how it started. When I was 14 years old on Tumblr, I started building a blog and whatnot. But that's always been my goal. So when I saw this technology, and I think you all can agree that this technology and NFTs and what is being built around us is changing the world and can change the world even more. I genuinely think that in my heart of hearts. I think that's why you guys are even here creating content. And so I immediately saw that, but it took me a while to understand in a way and try to figure out what my role was in the space, like what my place is in the space, right? And so that's a question I asked myself early on, like in February when I found out. I was like, wow, it's amazing. So I went all in. Two things that dragged me into the space, literally and generally, was the community and the art, because that's all there was, right? It was like really like talking about like when Thank You X, like was answering my questions like, what is NFT? How does it work? Blockchain, art, this and that. That was my teacher. My teacher is Fewocious. My teacher is Farokh Intro, Victor Mascara, Odious, Greg Mike, and like 30 other people, 40 other people. These are my teachers, right? And so I got into it that way. And then, met Jimmy, met Well Shark early on and whatnot. And so like I started I was so curious, I learning about it. But then it took me a couple months to just understand, like, so what do I bring to the space, right? Because early on, I was like, well, I want to be a bridge. I want to be someone who's going to be responsible for bringing the masses into Web 2 and in that world into Web 3, into the community, but all bridging it properly, right? Through education, through media, through entertainment, to really get them to understand how it works, because both of them can win from one another. And then you saw everything happen in 2021. So, it literally happened when it's still happening, right? But it was like, I was like, well, my place in the place is just be a bridge and just be like sort of a connect between that world and this new world. And then, even Rug Radio, when you think about it, it was spun off of an idea that we had one night on Twitter Spaces around in September. And we're like, well, how do we reward people for participating in the ecosystem through media, education, what we're doing? So it's, I wouldn't say I had a plan, nor do I still have one now. We're paving the way when you think about it. Like,
Yeah.
anyone who's building this space, like, I don't have any one to look up to right now for what we're trying to achieve with Rug Radio and whatnot. Nothing has been done before, so it's tough. So even then, February 2021 and March, April, the conversation's like, yo, we're actually helping write a part of history. And that was the motivation, and it still is to date, right? It's like we're literally here to change the world. And I like to think that we all are now. So yeah.
So what does that mean for Rug Radio? Tell us what that is and how that lines up with that kind of vision. What is Rug Radio? How do people get involved with that?
Yeah, I mean, Rug Radio, what we're building is we're building a fully decentralized Web3 media ecosystem. Now, what does that mean? Right, big words, decentralized, this, that. It's a lot, right? Obviously, we're working towards decentralization. So it's a community that is tokenized and governed by DAO, the Rug DAO, right? To which I'm putting 2 proposals forward tomorrow. We're just chatting about this offline. But it's basically, we did a launch on January 11th, 2022, so this year, beginning of this year, where we gave away 19. It was 20,000 member pass NFTs, but we did 19,000 held by the DAO membership passes to our community, right? Because I had already started building a community in September, and I had my own thing going on, on Discord, blah blah blah. So it was that pass, yeah, exactly. And so that pass was for free. Everybody could get it. We did some allow lists, we did some fun gigs, a little video game, the Broke Boys project built for us and stuff, to be able to get it. And then the first utility of this membership pass would be to mint on January 11th of this year for 0.11 ETH a Rug Radio Genesis NFT. So the rugs that you see as people's banners and whatnot. Yeah, those. Yeah, see, that's my favorite, the standard ones, because it literally looked like a rug. Shout out to Jeremiah, Alan Walsh, and Jess Wiseman on the art here. And so the goal was to be able to raise money through NFTs in order to build the future of media as we see it in Web3. Because I, as an entrepreneur, didn't want to go the traditional way, right? A big raise, a this, a that. It's cool, it's fun, there's nothing wrong with it, but I really, like I said earlier, want to prove that through this technology, through NFTs, you can do things differently. And that a kid like me and people around us, we can build something by crowdsourcing it and actually putting something out there. And that's what you've seen as the best use case in the NFT space so far, right? Or sorry, one of them, right? Mm-hmm. And so we were like, well, let me explain to you the thought that created Rug Radio, so you get on Rug Radio. Is that one night in September, we're on Twitter Spaces, John Knopf, bunch of us, everyone was chilling for 10 hours straight on Twitter Space and on Sunday. We're talking about everything, but some really, really good conversations we're having. And then someone writes in my Discord back then, it was called House of Farokh Discord. Someone writes oh, I wish I could stay, but it's too late and I have to go back to my job tomorrow morning, right? Or something like that. And then I was like, wait, how can I build something that while you are here consuming, and now the word consuming is different, but participating with the content we're creating, get rewarded for that and for being a member of this ecosystem, whatever it is. There was no Rug Radio back then, whatever it is, right? And get rewarded for doing that, thus educating yourself on Web3, on NFTs, and what can come out of that. Because I told you that my goal is always to change the world, change things, obviously change my life, but also change other people's at the same time. I was like, wait, surely from the last, let's say, 8 months I've been in the space, I've seen some fun stuff. We can make it happen. And so I'm like, we need a head of tokenomics. Who wants to come on stage? John Knopf, he goes, he's a photographer. For this photo, actually, which size is here. But anyways, and he's like, I know this woman, she's a genius, she's Mel. Bring her up. I'm like, all right, bring her up. It's like, yeah, well, we can do tokenomic structure. We can do a rug token. There could be a DAO and blah, 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 crazy shit, right? And at the time, I was like, whoa, that can actually happen. And I'm like, okay, so who wants to be head of art? And then Jeremiah comes up. He's like, he made a POAP. We broke POAP. We literally melted the POAP servers. The POAP engineers met me in NFT NYC. Like, yo, you gave us so much headache that night. It was the first time we broke POAP. It was hilarious. And the second time I broke was us too. But point being, we're like, wait, we're up to something here, right? And we can actually make it happen. So anyways, point being, 2 months of conversations, then launched the membership pass and the Rug Radio, and then we did the raise. So we sold 19,000 NFTs at 0.11 ETH each. people at membership pass could get it or not, because the membership pass still has utilities. They don't have to maintain. And there was like 1,300 left, and like that went into public sale last in under 2 minutes, you know. And for us, that was our twist on media, right? Is that we'll be able to like syndicate a bunch of shows, a bunch of creators, and help them build, you know, their platform, help them build their shows, help them their content. And we're platform agnostic, so it could be on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter Spaces, Clubhouse, Instagram, whatever app you want, but they can get rewarded in our, you know, native token for creating content, putting it out there, and then also participate within the broader economy, which is a rug DAO. So which is what I'm putting forward tomorrow in the long range plan on Friday, the 26th, is like a 6-month runway budget transparently of what we want to do with Rug Radio and where we're going. Because the idea of Rug Radio is always to build in public. You know, some people may think I'm crazy. It's like, well, you're going to put a very large budget to the people and they get to vote on it. So if they say no and we don't have quorum, well, then it's not going through. But if it does, then not only will it go through, but they'll be able to help us and we'll be able to reward them to help build the thing with us. So this is what Rug Radio is. It's a very large ecosystem we're trying to build around media and education in the space. And we're really trying to go the proper way of decentralization now. That can't happen like this, you know, overnight. That's fake. It doesn't exist. It's just marketing. But the real way of doing it is doing it over time, which is what we're trying to achieve.
Well, I love the genesis story of Rug Radio. I mean, it was born in a decentralized way. It was born, you know, right there in that Twitter space, maybe 2 months later launched, but really the inspiration for it all came together from the crowd, and that's the way Web3 is supposed to be done. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the proposal tomorrow. I hope it goes successfully your way, but you know, if it doesn't, that is the beauty of the DAO.
That's it.
I've seen now that you have this space and you are that bridge between Web 2 and Web 3, and you are bringing people into this ecosystem. It does come with some challenges. You know, I've seen the other day we were all the whole of Web 3 was blaming Farokh for everything, and I tweeted, you know, I pulled my back. I blame you. But that came on, you know, like you bought the Cool Cats. Everyone was excited. You sold Cool Cats. People were upset. Then you bought them again. They were upset. Then you sold them again, and then they were upset. Like, how do you deal with this attention that you have on you and this access that you have in a space where information is not equal and people can make a hell of a lot of money on some kind of information that others don't have access? And like, how do you sit with that every day, knowing that every move you make could be judged as right or wrong depending on who's looking at it?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the game, right? It's something that can really suck at times, and it can be the worst thing ever. And really, I mean that. Like, it could be really just like the whole thing. I was like, come on, man. Like, I'm booking $125,000 loss. You know, like, give me a fucking break, right? And it's like, you know, like, it already sucks, right? Like, you don't have to make it suck more. But thankfully, the community was really fast with like
humorous about it.
Yeah, humorous about it. And it was actually the best thing that had ever happened to me in the space. Like, I thought it was beautiful. It was awesome. It really meant a lot. But at other times, it's like, but on the other side, as much as it can suck, it is amazing. Like I said at the beginning, I've been building brand for 10 plus years now. It's something I love. It's something I want to inspire. I want to help other people. I want to prove to others that you can also like go out there and make it. You can build something out of thin air, but it can become something. Like Rug is an enterprise. It's something that we're built out of, like just talking about it, right? That's thanks to the space. So there's the pros outweigh the cons by 1,000x in my eyes. But I'm also the type of person to always see the glass half full. And as you probably know, and it's just like, and you know what, it is, right? And I think it's not for everyone. You have to have a thick skin, and my skin only gets thicker, and you have to have the right people, surrounding you. Like I can, just pick up the phone and call Keith Grossman, right? President of Time. It's like a big brother. I'm like, yo, like, what the fuck? Or like, what now? What? And people are always here to help. I have a lot of, you have to be surrounded by the right people, and know that what your intentions are, always have good intentions, and just like there's nothing you can do about it. People are always gonna have an opinion. Like this whole space is built around Twitter right now, right? That's how early we are, and we're so early that the most vocal people are the loudest in an echo chamber. So even if you guys like me, and even if there's like 200,000 people like me, right? Unless there's 2,000 people who dislike me, they're louder, right? Because also the engagements, the algorithms are all built towards like anything that is negative gets engagement, and anything that's positive. Like if I say, yo, I love Yossi, get X amount of engagement. You say, yo, screw Yossi, he sucks, and this company doesn't work.
We'll get 10
then
times
I'll
more.
get a bunch of engagement. Absolutely.
Well, it's also people want the controversy, right? Or people want the engagement, right? Forget about the controversy. And my whole output, like how Twitter is built and what people are talking about, they're saying controversial shit because if they
it's not just on NFT Twitter.
Nobody cares about them, right? Yeah, nobody cares about them. But I have a follow-up question to that, and I mean, I guess I kind of know some of the answer. Like, do you consider yourself an influencer? Is that like, would you call yourself? No, you're.
I hate the word. No, I hate the word, and it's a word that was stamped on me and on other people. Like, is he an influencer? I don't think he's an influencer. I think he's a collector. I think he's a creator of content. I think he's an amazing guy. I think he's dope. But point being, to answer your question, I understand it's what society wants to label you as, but that doesn't mean that's what I like associate as and with at all. I actually like to think that what I do and we do in space has impact and is plus CV, and I like to think that there's a reason why I have all these followers. I didn't force people to follow me. You don't put a gun to 313,000 people's hands and say, follow me. They decide to do so. So why? Because people made a decision to do so and you're labeled as an influencer? I don't think so. However, with great power comes great responsibility. That's the quote reply guys love to give me. So I will run with it. You're right. And I always say that. And it's true. I reflect on a lot, guys. I think about that a lot. Like, through all this controversy, I'm the one, trust me, I'm always the one who gets like hit the hardest by it. Like, mentally, physically, in every way. Right. And so I've been through it, right? Ups and downs, and the very lows as well. And so the thing is, no, I don't think influencer is the word. But I guess it's the easiest word. And the thing is, now people use it for negative connotation, right? Like, when I started selling media when I was 17, the word influencer wasn't even coined on Instagram yet, let alone there was no influencers on Instagram when I started in 2014. I was selling ads on Instagram in January 2015, right? And so nobody was really doing that. But then all of a sudden, people started referring to us, people with large audiences, influencers. It was funny to see the shift. And now this whole thing got a negative connotation. So I guess no to answer you, but this is why I just wanted to explain. Like, it's like, yeah, someone with a large audience, but I'm a founder, like any other founder. I'm a collector like any other collector. I'm a content creator like you. So, it's just a different audience.
I love that answer. And I guess kind of a follow-up question or, open discussion. Mm-hmm. It's kind of, everybody hates the influencers or the kind of people that move the markets, but at the same time, everybody's following them, right? Everyone's engaged.
Everybody loves to hate them.
Everyone is checking their Twitter or their Discord or watching their wallet or seeing what they're doing, right? I mean, kind of what we see with Gary Vee, where people would send them shit and then they would be like, oh, he bought it. And
he knows the most. Yeah.
Right. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I think this is like, we're all having conversations, right? So if Yossi and I are talking to you about our project, or you're talking to us about, your project, we're looking at it from an entrepreneurial standpoint of view. And if it makes sense, it's probably something that we're going to say, hey, this is something as a collector, as an investor, it's something that I might be interested in buying, because one, I believe in the entrepreneur, I believe in the leader, and what you said to me makes sense, right? So now going on the other side of it, people might look at it and say, well, that's, inside information, or you guys have that relationship and you're able to know ahead of time, right? But at the same time, I mean, all of the information is there, right? Like, you're creating content, we're creating content, whoever is putting out a project, that information is there. But if you look at how the market actually moves, it does move, same people are pretty much buying into a project, and that project starts to blow up. So long-winded question, but how do we kind of prevent that? And then also, how do we help that, right? How do we kind of, how do we make that where it's like, hey, this really is a good project? Because, and this is a perfect example. A buddy of mine texted me and said, hey, Pudgy Penguins is being pumped by influencers, right? And my first kind of thought was like, probably is, right? And then I had to look into it, and I'm like, I don't know if it is or not, right? I don't necessarily think it is, but subconsciously, that was kind of my first thought. Somebody is pumping.
That's always everyone's subconscious thought. Like, it's funny you mentioned this example, because that's an example that really annoyed me over this last week. Because the first round, like, ran around whatever, but this round around, like, it's like you have someone who generally came in the space, acquired a brand, and then built something out cool. Now people are reaping the benefits of it, and therefore, thing. Like, and it's always gonna be like that. The day Rug Radio starts running, people are gonna be like, oh, the influencers. But yo, like I've been saying, buy this shit, right? And even right now with our plans, and like it's out there, it's a dollar, right? You're gonna see everything that's being spent, right? So it's always gonna be that, and I think it's unfair, and that's why I speak out on that a lot, because, and I will go now, and you will see me defend founders more, and use my voice for that more, because it's like now it's a bad thing. Now everything, if someone's winning, it's bad. And you have to go and knock that out. So how is that even going to make people want to build in that space that we love so much and that we want to build? I don't have like, it's like, I don't have to work with you, but I can be like, yo, nice up, well done. This is dope, right? Like I can support you. I can clap for you. It doesn't have to be always like taken apart, right? So I guess to that, like the way you avoid it, first of all, Stanley, like access to information has changed now. There's more people in the space. I like that the bear market, we weeded out a lot of people. And now people, after everybody lost 90% of their bags in terms of certain NFTs, all of us. And so you people are more, reluctant to put their money. Like even me now, 0.1 ETH, I think about it. I never thought about it. We used to spend $500 on a transaction just on gas. We didn't care. Like we were so euphoric. And now it's like, oh, 0.1 ETH, wait, hold on, let me check this out again, right? And in a way, if that's how I'm thinking right now, I like to think a lot of the general, people are also thinking that way. And from the conversations we have on our show in the morning and stuff, I can tell people are more meticulous. So I already think this is changing. This is changing heavily. And at the end of the day, if you have a project, you are better off, doing it for the people than anything else. Like when we launched Rug Radio, every single person had the same access to the information, the same access to allow this and whatnot. It was one per person to our core community ahead, the people that had been following me all the way to Discord before I even blew up after that even more. So it was like, it was for that, and so it's just like, it's there are ways to just make it fair for everyone, because, that's the most important. And people will just like, you're better off doing it that way. Like even now with everything we're launching towards the end of the year, I'm very careful with what information I give to who and where. Right? Because I want everyone to have it.
I was at changing track slightly. I was at your at the paint party in LA with Fewocious, where he launched paint, and you were interviewing him and saw the genesis, or felt the genesis of that relationship over time that you've built over this time period, and kind of the real love that you have for him as an artist. Tell me a little bit about that kind of genesis of where that came from, and is there someone else now that you feel is the new Fewocious that people should be thinking about and following? If his market is now out of reach for most people.
He's like, yo, who's the next Fewo? He's like, yo, who's the next Fewo? How can I get
drop it?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I mean, otherwise, there's so many people I follow and that we interview all the time that I think are freaking dope. Like, I wouldn't be able to tell you who's next Fewo, but because Fewo is so special. Like, just from my relationship with Fewo to me is the most important artist of our time, of our generation. And there's a reason why. I'm not saying it's the biggest. There's a lot of variability in it. Copies are always big. It's the most important because his story, because of the fact that he's trans and he's not afraid of that, and he's pushing it forward. I mean, when he had your 14 to 18 for Select Christie's, that we did the whole presentation of it, trans flags outside of fucking New York out there at the Christie's flagship, never been done before. Like things like that, like the art world wasn't ready for Fewo, but Fewo was ready for it, right? And so we saw this whole thing, everything he does, and he is so big, right? And it's so incredible. And I always was in love with the person. So I met Fewo the night I found out what an NFT was. On February 18th, 2021. Insanity. And I was like, whoa, this kid is crazy. In a good way, like crazy, like it's amazing. It's art, it's everything, right? And I instantly became a fan. And then, like we became friends, chit-chatting here and there, blah, blah, blah. Not crazy, right? And then Clubhouse rooms, I hosted like the Fewo and Artifact drop on Clubhouse, like early, like it's so, my God, it's crazy. We're having this conversation with the Artifact on this sold tonight. What the hell? You guys like making me reminisce right now. It's like, whoa, shit, what happened in the year and a half? But like, I met people like that, and then, started kind of working with his team. His team is incredible. Andrew Gertler, his management, Deanna, everyone, like they're really good people, right? They really care for people, and they really start taking care of them. And so I started working with them, and just like I started also hosting all the stuff, like Sotheby's, the sale for $2 million for the sculpture in London. You were to 14 to 18 on Christie's was incredible. And so we really became close. And then, came around the time of planning Fuel World, and, like, hey, like, let's, we've been doing it together. Let's actually do it together. I was like, let's get it. Like, the chief vibe officer, and everything. I'm so happy now to be able to, while I'm building a radio and, like, in my opinion, changing all these things with media, just on the art side, being able to work with someone like Fuel, right? It's I'm his biggest fan. I know you guys love him, but I'm his biggest fan. And then no, but it's like I just love Fuel. He changed my life in so many ways, and and it's like it's a great conversation. It's everything about it.
Love that. So I have a question. So you said, year and a half, I kind of got into the space around the same time, February of 2021. Yassi's been in this space for a long, long time. But, obviously we're going through a bear market. Obviously the vibe is shitty out there. How early are we in this space? And in your mind, where does the space go from here?
Stanley wants to know if the good times are coming back. That's what he wants to know.
Well, look, I know they're coming back. I mean, obviously, us three are here, right? So we all of us know they're coming back. We believe in it. Even if it doesn't come back, we're still going to be here. We're here. But I guess I guess there's definitely people that are watching and saying, is it coming back, right? Or do I jump back in? Do I sell my bag? What am I doing? Like, how early? I want to hear your opinion. How early are we?
I mean, dude, like, I host a morning show, right? 5 days a week. And every day, I end up saying we're early. And I don't do it on purpose, but it's like we have these conversations, and I'm like, oh my God. And so the answer to, are we still early? Yeah. Like, I don't care whatever major adoption people think we've had so far. Yeah, maybe like we've seen NBA, NFL, the big brands, big companies. Tiffany the other day, we did. Nike just came out. They made like $187 million in the space. Like, Adidas is doing stuff and has done stuff, and they have more things coming, right? And like a lot of big brands are entering. Trust me, my phone's blowing up, right? Blowing up, like emails, partnerships, collaborations, and requests with Rug Radio, blah, blah. Like, we're seeing on the media standpoint. It's crazy, but we haven't even seen the tip of the iceberg yet. And nobody can change my mind on that. Like, you know why? One of the best metrics, I always looked at my followers, and once around you hit 300K plateau, mark, it's like starting to slow down because there's not many more wallets in the NFT space. There's 300,000 active wallets in space. I make that as a joke a lot because it's so funny. It's like, I make a joke with my friends. I'm like, I've plateaued, and it's just like, and we haven't though. We haven't. It's just but again, it's just the beginning, because even when I look at it from a branding perspective, I'm like, wow, I have another 10x in me. We have another 10x in Rug Radio. We have another 10x in that. In terms of, like, I'm talking about audience size. I'm talking about even more than that, right? And so, yeah, we're super early. And like, for anyone who's trying to get in, like, yeah, this is the best time to get in, because, yeah, it's not euphoric and crazy, but that's good for you because you can learn about it. Maybe you won't build generational wealth over a night, right? We would see, like, the millionaires were minted every day last year. Like, you have,
everybody was a millionaire.
Spirit. Oh, you started, yeah, people were minting and like getting lucky and selling. We'd see those $1 million sales every day. Like, yeah, like, okay, fine. If those will come back, you know what? There will be a time where things will be amazing again. If everything old will come back, maybe never. Maybe some projects are done forever. A lot of times I'm asking myself, maybe the price that we have priced now, is that the price they were worth back then, right? Like, what makes it that the cats were $50,000 floor? Like, was it worth entry? When you think about it in terms of today, like this, and I'm using cats as an example, but because you talk about
so they're not coming back to 50,000. Come on.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying cats, clones, Suzuki, everything, like apes.
Everything was hyped.
Everything was hot. I mean, a board ape was $450,000 for the cheapest board ape. Okay, like, when you think about it in those terms, I'm not saying in either it can't go back. I'm not saying it won't, and I want it to come back. And by the way, I have financial incentive for it to come back. Are you kidding me? My bags are loaded. But it's just like, I don't think that's what people should be focused on, right? There will be another bull run. That's how crypto works in cycles, right? And so there will be another chance for a lot of people to come in, and yes, to make money, and yes, to build something cool. But what's more important, what's bigger here, is the culture. The culture that's being built in this space right now is crazy. It's incredible. It's like being early to whatever movement you've already dreamed of or studied in school before. All the documentaries you're seeing about the 80s movement, or this, but that, like Renaissance, but like, this is it. This is happening. It's cultural renaissance. It's a technological renaissance. Everything. It's art renaissance. And so that's the crazy shit. That's the shit I'm in for, you know?
So I'll put you on the spot. Hashtag do your own research, not financial advice, but give us the blue chip.
At the bottom.
We don't fuck around. Nobody wants no legal notices.
I'm dead. This is
we're
so
professional,
funny.
all right. But tell us. I mean, give me your your top 2-3 blue chip projects, and give us a dark horse that you believe is building and is going to be a winner long term.
Rug Radio. You know what I mean? Like, this is not financial advice, right? But hey, at the end of the day, like, I'm always gonna say that. I promise myself every interview, but I'll give you a couple more that I can think of. But like, I'm just saying, like, for me, it's always gonna be that, because like, we're always gonna be there building. And you've seen, no matter what, no matter how hard anyone can try to do anything to me personally, if try to stop us, we're gonna build it. And we're actually, I'm convinced that we're gonna be successful because we're really like focused on it with the right people around us, right? But point being, like, but people for some reason like to speculate more but acquire more like PFPs because that's still what's hot and trending, right? It's still a thing. But like, I find it interesting. I think we're gonna see in the next cycle, you're talking about like coming back and the craziest things, Stanley. I'm starting to invest in businesses, not projects right now. Even whether PFPs or not, I am buying NFTs that I see businesses being built because that's what's gonna run in the bull run. So now you want, like, when you ask me the alpha in a way of where to invest, it's things like that, right? I'm bullish on anyone that is like us, actually trying to build a business and our projects. A big difference between the two of them. Projects for middle school. A business is what I'm here for, right? And so other projects, I mean, look, like, the Yuga ecosystem looks good, right? That's like an obvious one. Like, I'm happy with I love my punk, and then like, I like my Abe and music's about not other side, blah blah. We'll see what happens, but I like that. What am I? Let me just go through my wallet right now, real quick. Like, I'll just, because that's obviously the stuff I'm. Well, not everything, because some things I'm just buying. So obviously, well, for me, like, obviously, like, bias and whatnot, but like, I really like Artifact. I mean, I'm always gonna like Artifact Studios. I'm always gonna like Clone X, and especially because they have Nike, like, something I'm always gonna be bullish on. I've known Zapsio for like 8 years now. Like, it's like, and I know that these guys are gonna build a damn thing. Other projects, I mean, it's tough right now. I mean, I like the Chimpers. We hosted them not long ago. I have 2 of them. Again, like, people that are building, and that's straight on the project side of things, right? And then art-wise, I mean, you all probably know I'm a big Pepe fan. I love rare Pepes. I love fake rares. That's timeless. That it knows no bear market or bull market. It's just Pepes are Pepes, right? And I'm a big fan of what a lot of people are building. Just like, it's like obviously bullish on Mandona SF, right? Builders, again, like my co-host of the Jam NFTs show, Rec Guy and DJ's Access Pass, what they're doing with DJs, like, I'm obviously super bullish on that. I'm obviously extremely bullish on what Fuel has got coming in Fuel World, but like, I'm not going to talk about it out here right now, only when time is ready. But like, just a bunch of people, right? Like, if I'm scrolling through it, I'm looking, like, it's so hard. It's really putting me on the spot, because then I'm going to forget someone. I'm like, oh, why'd you forget that?
They're going to be upset with you.
Yeah. There's like, but there's a lot, there's so many great builders in the space. People need to really pay attention. Like, there's a lot going on.
What can our audience expect next from you, from Rug Radio, and how do they find out more as well?
I mean, for me on Rug Radio and everything, I mean, to find out more is always on our channel. So Twitter, Rug Radio, and then me, Farokh, right here, like it's written here, on my Twitter. What to expect next? I mean, the next 6 months are going to be really, really big for us at Rug Radio. We do have a secret project that's going to be pretty cool, and it's Rug Radio. Like, it's within the Rug Radio, because still, of course, everything we do, which is really going to be exciting. That it's going to come down. I'm going to stop talking about it, and then. There is like just anything we're building for the ecosystem. I mean, we're really going out there to get more hosts on, build more shows on, build more content creators. We're like really, really going to make it a very aggressive move in that sense. We have 15, 20 shows running right now. I want to double, triple that by the end of the year. Like, we're just going hard. So it's anything, like, it'll sound boring and redundant, but like, that's all there is to expect for us to build the Rug Radio ecosystem, because we have a 6-month long range plan that we're putting forth tomorrow. And like, that's anything we're going to do. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for what's coming in a couple months on our Basel. I'm excited for what we're doing in the space. I'm excited for more shows. I'm excited for my morning show with Mando and OSF and all the guests we're getting. I'm excited to keep collecting, building, like just like it's tough to tell exactly what I'm excited for because like the whole I was talking with Deez about that on Twitter Spaces the other day, and I tweeted about that something the other night. Like everything excites me. Like everything is so dope. Like I'm sure you can relate, right? Like
everything
you
is
wake
so
up
dope.
and like damn, everything you do is cool. Like even though
Yeah.
me personally speaking, like right now, later tonight or this weekend, I'm gonna go collect some art. You know what? Because because I want to, and I love it. It gives me life. And I love what I'm doing collecting with Pepe's. I've collected 49 out of the 50 Series 8 fake rares. Like I'm one of the only 20 people. I don't think a lot of us have the almost full set. Like I'm excited for this shit. I'm excited to keep building on Twitter and hosting and like everything we're doing. Like it's really, really exciting. And so when you have an ecosystem and a project, right, and a company that you're trying to build in space, it's even more fun in my eyes because like you can do so much. Like my goal was always when launching Rug Radio to build something bigger than me, right? You want to build something bigger than Farokh because I was always scared to like plateau and get bored in life. As you can see, I'm super ADD. So I was like, yeah, I got to build something so that we can have something greater than me that everybody can thrive on. So now that we finally have our ducks in order to 6 months of really laying the infrastructures of the whole company, right? And now that we can go, I'm excited because like, it's like, man, like we have so much that we can actually build with and things that we can do and sky's the limit. So that's what's exciting for the future for our radio.
I love the energy, brother. I love the energy. I got one last
it's
question
real,
for
man.
you.
Like it's real, like you saw me.
I listen, I
fresh out the
man.
press.
One last question.
I got Muhammad Ali in my back. You see it? You see I got Muhammad Ali.
He's your inspiration, yeah.
He's always looking at me,
I think it was on your Instagram or maybe on Twitter or somewhere. You have a pretty nasty golf swing. Are you a golfer, Farokh?
I love golfing. It's I actually when I was 7 years old, fun fact, my dream was to be a pro golfer, and I told my mom I'm the first Persian kid on the PGA. And so yeah, she put me through golf in Paris as a child. So I always loved it. And I was a squash player. I played squash since 3 years old. I competed. I was top 20 in Canada, 5-time Quebec champion, all that stuff, like sponsored athlete, blah, blah, blah. Supposed to go to Canada games, all that shit, injured myself, like all this stuff. But like, so I was always good with like swings. Like I played like squash, I played hockey because Canadian, right? All that stuff. And like golf, like I always loved it. Obviously never became pro, right? But like I learned early. And so in the summer, like every now and then, like I was just there this weekend. Like I try to go a couple times. It's just fun. Like
what do you shoot on the golf course? What do you shoot?
I don't know what handicap that makes me. I don't know what handicap. No, not 80s. But I only play once or twice a year. But like last I went, I shot the blue course at the Royal Montreal, which is a PGA tour, and which is the oldest course in Canada, in North America. But one of the best, the PGA thing, I shot 90s. I shot 98, right? It's not bad for blues.
I love it.
In Royal Montreal. So I like to think I'm okay.
You're right. Yeah, I was in the Admit One Discord a couple days ago, and there was a bunch of guys in there we were talking about golf, and I think G Money nominated me to start a golf outing for Admit One. So we might have to do a whole Web3 golf tournament. We might have to sponsor it by MVPL, wherever it is on my shirt. But I think we're gonna have to do something because there's a lot of supposedly good golfers in Web3, and we're gonna have to.
Dude, I'm down.
We're doing something.
I'm so down. It's a lot of fun. It allows me to just like chill out,
Yeah, I'll say we got to get you on the golf course. I'm not gonna lie.
That will be scary. It'll be scary for you guys.
I was almost late to the show today because I was on the golf course, so I'm not gonna lie.
I love that.
Well, Farokh, always a pleasure. Love the energy, love the vibes. For anyone listening to the show, tune in to Rug Radio every day. We have 5 days a week on their morning show where they're dropping good vibes, alpha, and everything you need to know about the NFT world and the broader world. And stay tuned to the proposal that's coming out tomorrow. I hope the DAO votes in favor. And good luck for that. And thank you for being on the show. Love having you on.
Yeah, we hope everybody enjoyed the show. We enjoyed speaking with you. Looking forward to Rug Radio. Not financial advice, do your own research, but there was some alpha dropped here. Rug Radio is and oh, by the way, what is
hot.
the floor price on Rug Radio right now? Or what's give us some data, give us some numbers.
0.22 ETH floor price with only 315 out of 20,000 NFTs listed. So that's what 1.5% listed. We never had more than like 1.5%, 2% listed, honestly. And so that's where we're at. Very sad. It's looking good. You know, it's organic. There's like what 300 to 500 rug sales in the past month. And it's just, you know, for us, the bear market is just a slow grind up. We're actually grinding back up slowly and just working really hard. So, you know, I'm trying not to be, I don't pay attention to it as much, but I'm mindful of it because I want to be able to like add value, right, to people, you know, because in this space you're heavily like, you know, kind of judged by it, all while being able to focus on one thing, which is the mission to build it.
I love it. You heard it here. 0.22. Get in there. # not financial advice. We'll see you guys later.
Peace out. Thanks for having me.